Our top focus this hour, as conditions aboard U.S. aircraft carriers remain in the spotlight, President Donald Trump has downplayed media reports about the USS Abraham Lincoln in remarks to reporters at the Oval Office. The nearly 9-month extended deployment of the carrier in the West Asia region is said to have triggered supply issues and a mental health crisis among the crew. The massive nuclear-powered ship departed California in November last year for duty in the South China Sea and was rerouted to West Asia, and this is before US-Israeli attacks on Iran that began on 28th of February. However, Trump has now rejected the idea that the ship, now at sea for more than 240 days, had been deployed for too long.
At a group meeting, and an admiral came up to see me over the weekend. And it was at a big group, and he happened to be an admiral retired. He said, "I've been on ships that are out there much longer than that, sir. And I know people on the Lincoln, they say it's beautifully maintained and beautifully taken care of." And other people went out and they found out to be true. It was fake news reporting from CNN.
However, the US president did confirm reports that the ship was due to be swapped out with another aircraft carrier. USS George Washington is sailing towards West Asia to take its place as the US remains locked in a stalemate with Iran over control of the Hormuz Strait and the country's nuclear program as well. US media, including specialist military publications, have quoted multiple relatives of crew members saying living conditions have deteriorated on the Lincoln. In fact, earlier the Navy conceded that the war created a highly contested environment where traditional supply hubs in West Asia were disrupted by combat actions that in turn led to shortages and even loss of mail aboard the aircraft carrier. Among details emerging from the accounts by families of the sailors was that 2 sailors had tried to jump overboard. Amid all this, Acting Navy Secretary Hugh Cao has said that a small number of mental health cases were treated with no loss of life. He blamed the media for trying to paint the warriors as victims. Also, US Secretary of War Pete Hegseth stepped up to dismiss reports of utter misery aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln.
Completely misrepresented. Listen, we make sure at every ship, every crew, every captain has everything we can provide them at every single moment. Some deployments are longer than others, and I have more respect and gratitude for those sailors than anybody. What they do in those high seas and those austere conditions with less port calls, it's incredible.